What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the J&D Podcast. I'm Jason,
I'm Darren, of course.
and we got a fun slate coming up this weekend, starting out with college football. We got some big matchups, but first we got Oklahoma versus Kansas. Oklahoma, they're having a great year so far.
Mhm.
Kansas having a great stretch so far, especially considering like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they went winless. So this is
Mhm.
going to be a good little Big 12 matchup. Their potentially last matchup for a long time because
Yeah,
Oklahoma's leaving.
yeah,
So, it's a game Oklahoma should win, but Kansas can definitely say, like, kick them out of the Big 12 pretty much.
yeah. Oklahoma's been probably the surprise of college football, especially after everybody they've lost. They lost last year. I'm surprised at how good they're playing. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Kansas at all. So I don't know. I have it being a blow. I don't have it being close. I think it's going to be a plus 20 win for Oklahoma. No, not plus 20. That's crazy. A plus 10 win. Plus 20. Not bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. 20 might have been, a little extreme, but 10 plus is sort of where it definitely could be.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, but next up we have Georgia going to Florida.
Mhm.
Fun fact, Florida is the last team that has beaten Georgia in the regular season 3 years ago. So it's been a minute. And
Yeah.
Florida's been sort of up and down this year.
Yep.
Sometimes they look really good, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
So it's hard to tell what kind of game we're going to get from them. But I think that, Georgia should easily win this, but who knows? Maybe Florida gives them another scare.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was high coming on. I was high on them after the Tennessee win. I thought they ran the ball really well. They beat Charlotte, but then they lost really badly at Kentucky. They've kind of been winning a little bit lately. They barely beat the Gamecocks last week by two. So, I mean, I think Georgia's just one of those teams that's just a bust all this year. I don't see them as like the overwhelming favorites, but I just don't think there's any team right now that can beat them besides maybe Michigan. I mean, every other team is look kind of
Well,
shaky.
if they're
I'm just
not
saying,
stealing signs.
yeah. I mean, like they're not like overwhelmingly dominant. It's just like every other team is just kind of like iffy this year.
I
Like
don't know. I like
I
Ohio
mean,
State this year.
Ohio State's cool. Like I don't trust them to play without C.J. Stroud. Florida State's cool. They're going under the radar right now. Oklahoma could maybe do something. I thought Texas was going to be that guy, but I think the only team that really scares me for Georgia is probably Michigan. So I mean, it's gonna be a good matchup for them, though. I think this game will be a lot closer than the records show. I think Georgia probably will only win by like 3 points, to be honest with you, because Florida's gonna
Wow.
run the football. Florida's gonna run the football just like Georgia will. So it's just really whoever can get more stops.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. I just don't think that Florida has it really in them.
Okay.
But one game that will be really fun to watch is Oregon versus Utah. Huge
Mm.
matchup, both top 15 teams. They could arguably both be top 10.
Yep.
Oregon coming off, tough loss to Washington State, but then,
Yep.
they're going to bounce back, of course.
Mm.
Utah off an electric win against USC.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they have been hit with a horrible injury bug. Just coming
Yep.
out that Cam Rising is out for the rest of the year, so he's gone. And their backup quarterback is hurt for now, so they're down to a third stringer, but they're still pulling it off.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a really, really exciting matchup. I think Utah has the edge just because it is in Utah and they're like 16 and 0 in the last
Yeah.
16 at home. So
Yeah.
I just, I mean, Oregon is the kind of team to, end that streak because they are a really good team. But I just
Yeah.
think that Utah is also a really good team and they, just continue winning.
Utah came off of being Caleb Williams last week. I think they're riding a very big wave of momentum. I think this game's going to really dictate on how Oregon comes out. I know they're really, really pissed off after that loss to Washington State. It happens. I mean, you lost to a great quarterback, so there's nothing you can do about it. But I think it's gonna really be dictated on how they come out. If they come out like my bad, they beat Washington State, they lost to Washington, but it really goes gonna come out how they come out against Utah. Utah's one of those teams that if you play around them, you know what I'm saying, like they're gonna beat the brakes off you, but like you want to take them as seriously as possible. Like their team has been hit with a lot of injury bugs, but like I said on the podcast on Monday, they're a very well coached team. So you definitely don't want to take them too lightly, even though they have a lot of injuries going on with their team right now. So I'm gonna take Oregon simply because they're healthier. I'm gonna say Oregon simply because they're healthier. By like
Oh, all
three
right.
plus.
I
By like
mean,
three plus.
that's not like it wouldn't be an upset, clearly. I mean, they're the
Yeah,
higher ranked team,
yeah.
but you never know. It's a
You
tough matchup.
you never know.
Yeah. Another top 25 matchup. It's a little ACC action. We got Duke versus Louisville. Louisville,
Hmm.
both teams, basketball schools, having a pretty good
Yeah.
season so far.
Yeah.
But personally, just seeing how Louisville struggled against IU, I can never trust them. If we almost beat them, this team can only be so good, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, Duke also hasn't had an amazing, second half so far.
Yeah.
They definitely
Yeah.
started out a lot hotter, but I just think that Duke has, I think they're the better team. So I think they're going to win this one.
I mean, they started out high, and I kind of talked about how they were going to eventually end up coming down. I mean, let's be honest, they're not a football school. They're definitely predominantly a basketball school. They had a great Cinderella run to start the season off, but they kind of started to come back down to reality. So I'm gonna have Louisville beating them simply because I just think Louisville's the better team. I mean, like you said, Louisville did almost lose to IU, so that is a little iffy. But I think it could be just a product of them taking us too lightly. I don't think they'll take Duke as lightly as they took us. And the only thing that concerns me about that simply is that loss last week to Pittsburgh. That was just like you can't lose to an unranked team that's like that.
Yeah.
They at the time they were 1-4 at the time. You can't lose
Yeah.
to a 1-4 team that badly. That's the only thing that scares me for them. But I think they'll come out. I think they'll put it on Duke pretty early, and I think they'll run away with the win. 10+ for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, either team, it's going to be a close matchup, I think. And
Hmm.
it's kind of like the inverse of the Oregon Utah. It's like instead of two
Yep.
big heavy hitters, they're two like very
Yeah,
like iffy hitters.
yeah,
You
they
never
both
know what
are.
they're gonna get. But two teams that have definitely proven to be at least decent is Tennessee versus Kentucky. This is gonna be a fun SEC matchup, I think.
That would be good.
Tennessee is, they're coming as the ranked team, but Kentucky has been ranked before this season.
Hmm.
They're they've had some really good games, got steamrolled by Georgia, but everybody gets steamrolled by Georgia, it seems like, or
Yeah,
most teams get steamrolled at least.
yeah.
But this is one of those games where it could go either way. This is as close to as 50-50, in my opinion. I haven't been nearly as high on Tennessee as a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And I think that Kentucky's going to win this game.
Like Kentucky's been weird. Like I'm not surprised. I think they lost. I mean, I think their best win on the season was easily against Florida. I mean, after that, they kind of more so came out on earth. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna go Tennessee here. I'm gonna go Tennessee here simply because I just think they're a better team. Like Kentucky came out early and was winning, and that they beat the brakes off of Florida. I thought they were gonna have a way better season than what they've been having currently. Now, I mean, I'm not saying 5-2 is not a terrible season, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just wish they had been better. Like I wish they had beat Missouri last year. I mean, last week, my bad. Last week after losing to Georgia, but they lost. So I think they're kind of starting to come on the decline for the season. I think they'll lose to Tennessee pretty easily.
Yeah. And then finally for college, we have Oregon State versus Arizona. Oregon State, almost a top 10 team, having a great season, but they're playing a really rowdy Arizona team. Yeah, I guess the entire state of Arizona is pretty rowdy. ASU has been, they're the
Yeah,
toughest 1-6 team in the
yeah,
nation.
they
Those
are.
boys will always put up fight.
They are,
But
man.
Arizona has played surprisingly well this season. And, they almost beat USC.
Yeah,
Oregon State has been having a pretty fantastic season, only one loss.
yeah.
And I would love to pick them, but I want to go with the savvy pick. Okay. Arizona's at home. I like their chances here. I think that they pull it off against Oregon State.
You know what? I'm actually gonna follow you on this pick. I'm actually gonna follow you on this pick. I'm actually gonna go with Arizona too. I think the whole state of Arizona is riding a fucking high right now. The Arizona Diamondbacks just went to the MCS. My bad, not the MCS. The
The World
major
Series.
the World Series. My bad, I'm tweaking right now. They went to the World Series. So I think they're riding a really big high right now in Arizona, and we all know how Arizona State they have the biggest fight of any 1-6 team I've seen in a while. So yeah, I'm gonna go Arizona to actually pull out the upset here. I think Oregon State they haven't really faced anybody that's really opened my eyes. I think they're probably one of the worst 6-1 teams in the nation right now. So You know what? I'm gonna go Arizona pull off the upset. Why not? Fuck it.
Okay.
Why not? Why
Uh,
not?
all right. Shifting a little more to the NFL, we have, a semi-decent slate, but one very interesting game is Jaguars versus Steelers. It's very two teams that are very hard to call. Jaguars, their record says they're a pretty good team. They're 5-2, but they've lost some pretty bad games. They haven't been very inspiring. Barely won against the Saints. That could have easily been a loss.
Yeah.
And, Trevor Lawrence has just been not looked like himself. He's struggled. Calvin Ridley has struggled. Travis Etienne is really just keeping this team together, it seems.
Yep.
And so they just don't seem like that very solid team. They don't seem very, just scary. But they're
Yeah.
also playing a Steelers team who they're 4-2. Their record isn't bad either.
Yeah.
But they're also not like it's really hard to make up what they are because their defense is great. They're always going to be great. It's just their offense is a Matt Canada offense. It's going to be rough. It's not going
Yeah.
to be pretty, but
Yeah.
they got Deontay Johnson back now. So they'll have two competent receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Pickett maybe starting to pick it up. We saw
Yeah.
towards the end of the Rams game. So,
Yep.
and Najee Harris is maybe not being as terrible as he's been. It's just, it's two very tough teams to pick. You
Yeah.
never know what team you're going to get on any given Sunday with these guys. So
Yeah.
it's really difficult to choose this one. I'm going to go with the Jaguars simply because on paper they're the better team, but they've been really suspect this season. So if they lose this,
Yeah.
it's not going to surprise me at all.
Hmm. Okay, so there's two ways I'm gonna go with this, right? So George Pickens has been balling out the last 2 weeks. He had 130 against Marlon Humphrey in a touchdown, and he had 107 last week against LA. Not a great secondary, but he still did his thing in a win. So if he goes off again for the third week in a row, I'm gonna have the Steelers winning this. But if he doesn't, and he has honestly a little bit of an off game, I'm gonna have the Jaguars beating them pretty easily. So for me, I just think it's just so weird for me with the Jaguars because like Trevor Lawrence, like this is supposed to be his breakout year. I think before the season started, most people had him as the dark horse for the MVP. I don't think nobody has him at that point right
No.
now. He's been
Yeah.
he's been very, very, very average. Now they have been winning. I mean, they were a drop touchdown from beating the Saints. Like, come on now, like I'm not gonna put that too much on him. He was wide open. He has to make that catch. And I mean, they beat the Colts. I mean, without Anthony Richardson, I mean, there's only so much I can do with these wins. For me, if Trevor Lawrence needs to right now, he needs to start picking it up like now. If he doesn't start picking it up right now, he's gonna have a long day against that Steelers defense because that Steelers defense, like you said, is really fucking good with T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, all those boys on there. Like so, if I'm gonna have the Jaguars winning simply because I like what they're doing. I think you said I think they're the better overall team. But if George Pickens goes off like he's been going off the last 2 weeks, I'm gonna have the Saints winning this matchup. So I'm gonna go both ways.
All right. Then we have a really interesting matchup. We got Rams versus Cowboys. Cowboys they've been pretty good so far to start out the season, although they've definitely shown weaknesses.
Yeah, of course.
They that game against the Chargers was rough from both
Yeah,
teams,
yeah,
and they have a good record so far, but you always feel like that they could just drop a random game. And
yeah.
the Rams are a team where they could be that team to,
Mm,
drop a game to.
yeah,
And you never know. I mean, the Rams haven't been fantastic. They haven't really blown me away.
yeah,
But Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua against a depleted secondary, they're gonna feast, I think.
yeah.
Matt Stafford should be having fun tossing the ball. I don't know if their defense is really gonna be able to hang with Tony Pollard and CD Lamb.
Okay.
It really, I think, hinges on how good of a game that Dak has.
Mm,
And, Dak, he's more likely going to have a bad game than I think a good game. So I'm
that's
going to
fair.
have the Rams winning this game, honestly.
Um. Hmm. So Kyron Williams still out, right? So that for me
Oh,
is kind of
true.
what's pushing me a little bit away from the Rams for sure. But I just know Dak. I know Dak's he's just gonna sell the game. He's just gonna find some way to just hinder the Cowboys from winning this game by 40. So honestly, I'm gonna honestly go with the Rams here. You know, because simply because I don't personally work for. I know Cooper Cup's gonna torch Gilly. Let's be honest. Cooper Cup's gonna give Gilly. He's gonna give Gilly fits, and Puka's gonna take on who's their second corner now? I think is not Kelvin Joseph anymore.
Oh,
Is
Stephon Gilmore.
no,
No,
Gilmore is
he's
the number
on.
one now because Diggs is injured.
Yeah.
So I think it's Jamal. I want to say it's Jamal Lewis. I don't want to say it's Jamal Lewis, but like whoever the second corner, we don't know who it is. So that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Puka's going to give him yards, right? So if Puka and Cooper can for finally combine, because we've seen Cooper have big games, but Puka have bad games. We saw Puka have a big game in the loss. We saw Cooper be a little quiet. If they can come together and put it together and have an overall dominant duo performance at the receiver position, I think they can beat the Cowboys for sure. But it's also going to really depend on how good they can block up Michael Parsons. Let's be honest. And for
True.
Cowboys, it's going to be if they can block Aaron Donald. But I think they have the tools better than the Rams to block up Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the Rams are going to do a great job of blocking up Michael Parsons. So things have to go right for the Rams when they win this game. So I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys here. You just hope Dak doesn't stay with the team. Let's be honest. You just hope Dak doesn't throw picks like he always does. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I ain't confident.
Next, we have, Battle of New Jersey. I refuse to call these teams New York teams
That's
since they
crazy.
both play in New
That's
Jersey.
crazy.
But
That's
we
crazy.
got the Jets traveling to the Giants.
Yeah.
On paper, you'd think, oh, the Jets probably have this game. They have been amazing this year, but they have had really good games and their defense has been solid. But the Giants have looked like a whole different team with
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor behind under center. So it's given me a little bit of hope. I don't know if it's going to be the difference maker. Like, I still think the Jets are probably going to win this, but I think Tyrod Taylor gives them a better shot to win this game than having Daniel Jones would.
Yeah. So you have the Giants winning this.
No, I have the Jets still.
Yeah, the Jets. Okay. So the Giants are weird. Did the Giants have their first round pick? You know
I
off the top
believe
of your head?
so. I think so.
So it's weird what they're doing right now, right? Because like honestly, you just paid Daniel Jones, right? You just gave him an extension. But like if I was the Giants low key, I would low key be trying to go for a quarterback.
But you're
Low
not going
key.
to tell a backup quarterback to lose. He's doing this for his career.
But like, I mean, he's really just doing this because Daniel Jones is out right now. Let's be honest. Like he
No,
wouldn't
I
even
know,
sign.
but now he's giving himself another shot.
He can look good, but like don't win the game. You get what I'm saying?
You're
Like he
not,
looked good.
there's
He
no,
looked he looked good against the Bills, but they didn't win the game. You get what I'm saying? Like if he looks good and doesn't necessarily win the game, like nobody's gonna fall him. Okay, well, they're out to a loss. Like they're not gonna fall him. They're not
well,
expecting
I
him
don't
to.
think that he intentionally did that. I just think the Giants aren't an amazing team. That's why they lost.
Yeah, but like I mean,
I don't think you need to
the,
tell him to not win these games. I think they won't win them on their own.
No, because see, this one scares me because the Giants defense has been playing really well, and Zach Wilson. I mean, he's been I guess good, but like we haven't seen him since what like 2 Sundays ago because they had a bye week last week. We haven't seen him, and the Giants defense for some reason has turned into the 2000 Ravens. Like they made Josh Allen like extremely average. Apparently, what's his name? Bobby Okoane. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's one of the inside linebackers. Do play like Ray Lewis. He was everywhere making plays all night. He gave Josh Allen fits the entirety of the night. Um, I think. Hmm, okay, so I think the Giants can win this game. I'm not actually gonna go with the Giants winning this game simply because they don't want to lose one. But I think simply because I think their defense is gonna give and then they're gonna give Zach Wilson fits. My bad, Bobby Okereke. My bad
Okay,
for
okay, yeah.
stealing your name, Bobby. And Banks has been playing really well. He's been arguably the best corner in the draft so far. I like Xavier McKinney, of course. Dexter Lawrence is to be expected. My bad. Leonard Williams is to be expected. Thibodeau's starting to show up now, and he's starting to, you know what I'm saying, look like that. Wasn't he the number one pick? He was the number one pick,
No,
right?
he was the fifth. He was fifth.
The
He
fifth
fell a
pick. The fifth
little.
pick. I'm tweaking. That's on me. My bad. I forgot. No, I'm thinking of Trevon Walker. My bad. Trevon Walker.
He's
Thibodeau. Yeah, average. But yeah, so and I love the pickup of Isaiah Simmons too. So if that defense continue to play as well as they've been playing, I think they honestly could win. Because I think Zach Wilson, he's been pretty well lately, but I think there's going to come a point in time where he's going to struggle. And I think if any game he's going to struggle is against the Giants defense.
I mean, it's just both teams have really good defenses, So I
Yeah.
think it's going to come down to the offenses.
Oh,
And I
tough
just
split
think
there.
the Jets' offense is better.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
just
I don't see any other way.
yeah. Yeah, I'm actually the only matchup. I guess I clearly I was saying I'm interested in seeing this is the, I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna put Deontay on Garrett Wilson, right? You think they're gonna put you think in that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the matchup I'm wanting to see right now. And
Not
actually,
Sauce
I'm not gonna
Gardner
lie.
on Jalen
Yeah,
Hyatt.
yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about. I love Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. I wish you guys took him, but Giants
I
took
did
him. He
too.
looked really well. He looked really well. So I'm interested to see that one as well.
Yeah. Next, we got Browns versus Seahawks. It's the
Mhm.
battle of two teams who are sneakily having good seasons. Well,
Sneakily,
good
man.
seasons. I mean, the
Yeah,
Seahawks are 4-2.
I didn't even
Like,
realize that either.
exactly. Who
Yeah,
realized this?
I didn't realize
They're
that.
having a much better season than I even remembered. And
Yeah,
it's pretty shocking. And
yeah,
the Browns, they're 4-3 now, I think. It's better
yeah.
than I would have imagined.
They really
But
should be
now
worse.
that Deshaun Watson is his brain is mush, pretty much. If you
Yeah,
saw the replay when he got hurt, it was bad.
it was
But
bad.
they played decently under PJ Walker, former
Yeah,
XFL legend.
yeah,
But they have it really is. They have a really, really good defense, and they have the
yeah,
best defensive player in the league. I think Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the league. You
yeah.
could
I agree.
argue TJ Watt. I
Yeah,
just don't.
I
I
agree.
think that Garrett has the edge.
It's Monty Garrett.
So
Yeah,
I think that will keep them in the game. It's hard to pick the Seahawks because they don't move me that much.
they don't either. Me either.
I really like. I'm not impressed by them, but they're still 4-2.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Browns, but it doesn't feel good. But picking the Seahawks wouldn't feel good either.
I'm gonna go with the Browns too. I do agree with you that Miles Garrett is the best defensive player in football right now. I I understood what you were saying about TJ Watt, but the fact that I watched Miles Garrett essentially give the best tackle in the league fits for the entirety of the game just showed me everything I need to know about Miles Garrett. He is that guy. He is the best. No disrespect to Aaron Donald, you're still great. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give it to Miles Garrett right now for sure. So I don't know. Cause see, like I just so wish that I wish this man Charles Cross was on the right side because I really want to see Charles Cross against Miles Garrett so badly because they took Charles Cross in the first round, right? And he's supposed to be that guy that tackling for them to solidify them, kind of like I don't know if you remember, but Walter Jones, he was a tackle for
Oh,
a minute for the Seahawks. And he was the Iron Man. He was one of the best tackles in the league. Hopefully, Charles Cross can be that for them. I really wanted to see him go against Miles Garrett, but sadly, he's not going to be able to. He's probably going to go against Darius, but. I think Miles Garrett's going to take over the game. I don't see them having anybody to block him, even if they do put extra protection on him. I don't see them having anybody to block him. That defensive line is looking really as well, and that secondary is starting to really pick it up. I love Grant Delpit, love Denzel, I love Greg Newsome, I love all those boys out there. So, if did Sam Watson play this week?
I don't know. I mean, I
I think
don't
I
think he
heard something he
should be.
was.
He
I,
shouldn't.
I think I heard he was, but I don't want to. I don't
Oh
want to.
God. I mean, if
I
he
don't want to.
is, honestly, that might sway my pick the other way.
Okay, so my bad. He's not in space of returns. Peter Walker will play. So
Okay, yeah.
because see, PJ Walker's been playing bad enough for them to lose these games. It's just that their defense has been keeping them up so much. So if PJ Walker plays even a subly average game, they win this game pretty easily. If PJ Walker plays like how he did against the 49ers and not did against the Colts, the game's gonna be close. So I'm gonna have the Browns winning, but I have it will be close. I think PJ Walker's garbage. So even though he's an expected quarterback, so my bad.
Mm, makes sense.
Yeah,
And then finally, we have I think this is gonna be a really fun game. We got Bengals versus 49ers.
that would be good.
Bengals found their footing. They're starting to get on a roll now, starting to look
Yep.
like the Bengals that everyone loves to watch.
Yeah, yes,
Versus a
sir, Ski.
49ers team that's kind of stumbled recently. Back-to-back losses. A
Yeah.
really, really
Really bad
iffy
loss.
loss against the Vikings.
Oh my
And
God.
now Purdy's out. He's
Yeah.
concussed.
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold's going to come in. And here's the thing with Sam Darnold. Every year, he gives you one performance where you're like, oh my God, that's why he was taken third overall or whatever, however high he was taken.
Yeah.
But every other game, he's terrible, it seems like. So
Yeah.
you never know when he's going to give you that one performance. Maybe with Kyle Shanahan, he is going to be successful. I mean, if Brock Purdy can be successful, who's to say if Sam Darnold
Yeah.
can be?
Yeah.
But it's against a Bengals team who's been pretty good. As we said, they're on a roll. They're pretty hot. So it's going
Yep.
to be a tough game to make your first start of the season.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, this 49ers team is really talented. It just,
Yeah.
they really haven't inspired me much over the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to take the Bengals here.
Honestly, man, as crazy as it's, I think that Cowboys blowout did more worse than them than good. It's crazy to say because since then they missed a kick to lose to the Browns and they got essentially beaten by the Vikings, who are terrible. So, and they didn't have Justin Jefferson as well. You know, it's funny. I actually called that. I said I'm hoping for that Vikings game that Jordan Addison was going to have a big game. And guess what he had? 7 receptions for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. I said he was going to have a big game. I was hoping he was going to have a big game. And he did. So he did me right. Right. So for me, right, the 49ers, man, what the hell happened, man? Y'all guys I think we all had you guys as the consistent best team in the league, like over the first, 5 weeks. And then you
Yeah.
guys lost to the Browns. You're like, okay, well, it's a hiccup. It happens. The Browns are a really good defense. And then you go down against the Vikings and you're like, okay. And then Brock Purdy's not concussed. You guys are scrambling right now. You know, you basically lost all your star players. Now that I think about it, let me ask you a question. Did they play those star guys against the Cowboys? When they were beating them, like it was like 35-10. Were they still playing?
They started pulling them. No, they started pulling them.
Okay, because I could have swore I saw a touchdown when they were up like 35-10 where they had their starters in. If your guys did, it's starting to look really bad now because you guys can't stay healthy now. You lost essentially everybody's dropping like flies. George Kittle has not woken up apparently from his deep sleep because apparently like he just doesn't want to be
He partied
on
too hard
Travis.
at tight end university.
He doesn't want to be on Travis Kelce's level. That's fine. If you don't want to be that guy, that's okay. We understand. We're not going to hold you to it. It's okay. Because at one point we were calling you the best tight end in the league. We were calling you that, but you just ever since then he says, "Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I don't want it no more." So honestly, as weird as this shit is going to say, it's going to be for me to say, I'm gonna have the Bengals winning this game pretty easily. Actually, I think Sam Darnold's going to look
Pretty easily.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty easily. I think that defense is reeling. Defense is reeling. If they can somewhat at all block up Nick Bosa, they're going to win this game pretty easily. Now that is tough to say because the Bengals' offensive line is garbage. So if they can somewhat block him up at all, they're going to win this game because Sam Darnold's not going to win the game for them. Let's call a spade a spade. He's not that guy. Even under the 49ers, we saw Jimmy G struggle. He's going to probably struggle just as much, if not worse. If Joe Burrow could have a somewhat good game, they're going to win the game by like 10 plus. About 10 plus.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with the Bengals here.
Okay. So is it more confidence in the Bengals or lack of confidence in the 49ers?
Lack of confidence in the 49ers because they're hurt. And even honestly, to be completely frank with you, even if Brock Purdy was healthy, I would probably still go with the Bengals here because Brock Purdy is like absolute average.
No, he's not as good as everyone was saying. Who would have guessed that? Who would have guessed that?
Yeah, I mean, who would have guessed that the guy that doesn't have 4 number 1 guys can't move the ball now? I mean, you know, it happens, I guess. Yeah,
it does.
So,
yeah. Shifting over to something that's very, very exciting. We got the World Series.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Before we start this, can we have a moment of silence for the world? Honestly, for the U.S. The Rangers are in a World Series. Can we have a moment of silence?
All right, fuck that.
Okay, that's crazy. Jesus Christ, man, this is what none of us wanted to happen. I think we all as Americans can come together collectively outside of Texas and say none of us wanted the Rangers in the World Series. But you know
what? The problem
is
nobody wanted the Astros in the World Series either. That was the problem. Nobody wanted either team.
They were just more tolerable than the Rangers. The Rangers just absolutely suck. But okay, let's just get into it. Right.
Well, Diamondbacks pulling off the unbelievable. As I said in our episode last week, I would have been shocked. It would have been unfathomable for them to win, and they did. You go down 2-0.
Yep.
You fight. You have to come back both game 3 and game 4, and then you lose game 5, and you're like, all right, well, there goes our momentum. We're going back to Philly where we just got smacked around, and you take both of those games. Unbelievable performance by the Diamondbacks. Really proud of those boys. They did really well. I'm not a Diamondbacks fan, but I go to Arizona, every spring to watch some spring training. So I've been to their stadium a couple times. I see them a lot. And so, there's players on that team I like. And it's really awesome to see them already in a World Series. They're way ahead of schedule. And as we're recording this right now, they're leading the Rangers 5 to
5-3
3 in the
in the
bottom
bottom
of
of
the
7.
seventh.
Yep.
So if they can pull off a game one win, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think I have the Rangers winning this series. I just think that they are the better team. So I would
Yeah.
imagine they win in like 6 games.
Yep.
But if the Diamondbacks win, I will be so happy.
Oh yeah.
Not only because the Diamondbacks win, but also because the Rangers lose. But
Yeah.
I think it would be just a great sports story. This team had 84 wins in the regular season. For
Yeah.
context, most teams that win the World Series will have at least 90 wins. Those are seen
At
as the
least.
elite teams. The
At
100
least.
wins are really like the top echelon. This
Yep.
team made the playoffs by like 2 games. So
Hmm.
for them to be doing what they're doing, even if they don't win the World Series, major accomplishment. They're still a
Yep.
young team, so they're still going to grow. But it's been awesome to see what they were doing.
Yeah. For me, what they've been doing is remarkable to me. I think they're honestly probably America's pick right now to win. I think everybody outside of Texas wants them to win because generally because we none of us want the Rangers to get a World Series. So for me, if they can, because right now they're up, if they can take game one, I honestly think they can. I think they can win. I genuinely I think they can win. They're a young team, but they play amazing defense. I think wasn't it in the closeout game, right? It was in the closeout game. Didn't they have like in the ninth, they didn't allow a single base, wasn't that like a thing? Or they kept getting straight outs the entirety of the time? Was I
Yeah,
watching that correctly?
the Phillies just couldn't get anything
Yeah, that's
going.
what I'm saying. They couldn't get anybody on base. So yeah, their defense playing really well. They've held the Rangers to 3 runs, which is really good. They have 5. So I think if their defense can continue to play like they did against they can continue to play like they've done the last 2 rounds, I think they can win this World Series. And genuinely, if the Rangers gonna pick it up now and at least get something going, I think they honestly probably could sweep them. Low key,
You
low
think a
key.
sweep?
I think so because simply because
Okay.
I, it's not likely. I'm saying if they pick it up, they're gonna get some wins. But I'm saying if they continue to look like how they're looking right now, especially in game one, the Diamondbacks low key can sweep this low key because
If
they
that's
they
like
have
the
the defense too. They
I
have the
think that's
defense
like the
too.
least likely outcome, but I love the confidence there. I'm not gonna stop you from thinking about like that. Go for it.
Hey man, you know what? I'm all for balls to the wall predictions, man. You know what? Might not be popular, it probably ain't popular with anybody, but you know what? If it happens though, I'm gonna look amazing for it. So
You
I'm
will,
okay
yes.
with
That'll
it.
be a crazy prediction.
Yep, yep. But honestly, you know what? Let's give him some love. The season started. Let's talk about the NBA. All right.
Okay.
Do you have? We've never talked. Do you have an actual team that you actually root for? It's solidified.
Not really. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
teams I like I like the Bulls just because they have Zach LaVine, who's my favorite player, but they're terrible. So
Okay.
it's miserable. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess the Clippers, because I'm
Okay.
from LA and I just
Yeah.
like them more than the Lakers. I'm not like super like steadfast as a Clippers fan,
Yeah.
but I mean, I root for them, I guess.
Yeah. So they're actually losing to the Jet right now, but we're gonna talk about my team because I'm a Celtics fan. 2-0. Heat fans suck it. First off, you guys may have had the Eastern Conference Finals. It's okay. We come back and we retool, baby. Come back and retool. That Jimmy Butler bullshit not happening this time. Okay, we on y'all ass when it comes down to
Well,
the.
you always think that Jimmy Butler bullshit isn't happening, and then it happens. That's why it's the Jimmy Butler
Hey,
bullshit.
we held Jimmy Butler to 14 points. I can live my life with that. I can live my life with that. But especially if we manage to meet them down the road. Honestly, I think it's gonna be the Bucks, but who knows? Who knows? So honestly, low key, the teams that I've kind of been noticing a little bit, the Lakers had a really good win last night. Now, granted, it was against the Suns, who were very diminished. They didn't have D-Book or Bradley Beal play.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal actually hasn't played a game this year so far, and it's only been 2 games, but he hasn't played a game at all. Are you
Yeah,
concerned about the Bradley? Are you concerned about the Bradley Beal pickup?
I I mean, he's missing the next game, I'm pretty sure, and so is Book. I mean,
Mm,
out of your top three, having
mm,
combined 4 games played between
yep,
the three of them
yep,
out of a possible 9 in your first
yep,
three, not a really good look, especially when Kevin Durant is injury prone himself.
yep, yep,
I mean, if you're a Suns fan, you hope, this isn't something that happens, affects you later in the season,
yep,
but it's not a great look to start the season.
yep.
I mean, Kevin Durant looked fantastic against the
He did.
Lakers.
He really did.
He But the problem is everyone else besides him looked
Yeah.
horrible. And it's
Yep.
exactly what a lot of people were saying. It's the big three, and then, they tried to get more depth, but it
Yeah.
just really was not going for them that game. So
Yeah.
it is concerning for the Suns with these injuries because you never want to go down and end up, if these injuries affect you too much in the regular season, you're a 5 or a 6 seed, or you play a tough opponent in the first round and all of a sudden you
Yep.
get bounced, or you
You don't want
really
that.
have to, you go to 7 games and everyone's already tired and you don't have that depth to really help you out.
Mhm.
So this could definitely hurt them down the line also, I think.
I think this can help and do. I think this can hurt them and help them at the same time. Simply because first off, before I get into any of that, I want to say I feel bad for Kevin Durant. This is exactly what he wanted to get away from, was having to do things by himself, and it looks like these next couple of games he's gonna have to do everything by himself, besides the first game. So for me, right, with Kevin, right, it can hurt them because simply you're not healthy. You have to you're adding Bradley Beal to the mix, who's another scorer, who's another guy that needs the ball in his hands to be effective. You guys need to get that chemistry together before the playoffs, because as the playoffs, that whole, if you guys don't have your shit together by then, we saw with the Nets, you guys are gonna struggle for sure. It can help them simply because it allows the role players to get a rhythm. It allows the role players to get their. It allows you to analyze who are going to be the key role players when it comes down to the playoff times. Who are the guys you can count on? I know off the top of my head right now, Yuta for sure is really good. I like Yuta. I like what I saw from him in the Warriors game. Aaron Gordon, of course, is a veteran. I like
Grayson Allen,
yeah, Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen's weird because
he's
he does
terrible.
he does dumb shit. Like what he did in the Bucks series. We're not even gonna talk about that dumbass shit, but you know what you did, okay? Okogie, I like Okogie. He gives a lot of energy. I love Nurkic, of course. Nurkic is gonna be that guy for them playoffs. For me, I think like guys that need to be healthy. I think those are the only guys that I'm seeing right now that's gonna give them anything in the playoffs. Like, like I don't see much. I don't see much from them. So those guys need to definitely right now getting a rhythm, because once D Book and Bradley Beal and Kevin are all on the court, you guys are probably going to get less touches. Let's call it spade a spade. You guys probably going to get much touches, but right now needs to be the time for sure. The Lakers 1-1, lost the first game, came back the Suns. LeBron's looking. LeBron has kind of looked to slow down. He's going to look he's slowed down a little bit. Now, people are going to give him the credit, of course, because he had the big fourth quarter or whatever. But over the last week, he's averaging right now 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Do you think now with the season that we finally see him slow down for good?
I think he's slowing down, but I think it's intentional. They said he's going to be on a minutes limitation, and that makes
Mm,
sense. It's year 21. If
yep.
you want to be fully ready for the playoffs, I think this is the best way to go about it.
Yep.
I mean, if it takes him, just not looking like prime Braun, I think it's fine at the level he's playing at right now, as long as it's good enough to get to the playoffs, which I think it will be because Braun is just great.
Yep.
I think they'll be fine. The only thing they need is their other star player, Anthony Davis, to be able to, pick up that slack, be, that generational player that everyone thought he could be. That,
Yep.
if injuries hadn't happened, maybe he's a perennial top 5 player, but
Yeah.
he hasn't looked really amazing so far to start the season.
Mhm.
So if you're a Lakers fan, you want more. Your role
Yeah.
players haven't really been too crazy yet.
Yeah.
Cam
Yeah.
Reddish is not good still. Shocker. Who would have
Yeah.
guessed?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. He's
mean, they still
savage.
have good like other players besides those two,
Yeah.
but it definitely, I think, relies a lot upon Anthony Davis to be able to pick up that slack that
Oh yeah.
LeBron is now, giving way
Sorry.
for.
Yeah. I think yeah, it works out because Anthony Davis had a terrible first game against Jokic, which is to be expected because Jokic is the best center in the league. But he came back last game and did his thing on Nurkic, which he typically always does. So I'm glad to see him bounce back. But he's gonna probably have to give you those MVP like performances because LeBron is clearly taking a step back right now on the offense. Austin Reeves, who is tied up to be the third best player right now, is averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists on 44% shooting from the field. Also Reeves, I don't know if you know this, but LeBron's 40. You're supposed to be touted as the third guy in the three. That's what they did all offseason. They had you, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. You need to pick it up. You need to be giving them at least a good 17, 18 points per game as the third guy, right? So the Lakers, it's cool right now. Look, when LeBron gives you 21 points and they winning, when you're losing,
It's
you know
not
what I'm
as
saying? Like, yeah, it's
not
not as
pretty.
good. So I don't know. I personally, not gonna be wrong on this. I don't think this minutes restriction should last forever. They're gonna get in trouble, and LeBron's gonna have to turn back into LeBron, and it's gonna gas them out. It's gonna gas them out. Let's be honest, it's gonna gas them out. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, and we get playoff Braun right where he goes off like he always does. But this ministry, it can be a blessing, but it also could be a curse. Again, and they gave you 30 and 12, and you guys beat this KD by 5. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's question marks for sure. The last one I want to get into was Giannis and Dame. 1-0 right now. They beat the 76ers. I think Dame had a game winner against them. So
Pretty much, yeah.
how are they looking right now? How are you looking right now with free time?
I mean, exactly what you were hoping for from having
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard with Giannis. The
Yep.
spacing, unbelievable.
Yep.
Of course, you're going to have to guard Damian Lillard so far out because he's just
Yep.
so good. And Giannis wasn't even amazing with
He
that.
wasn't.
He had like an average game, and they still came out with a win against a good 76ers team.
Yep.
Without James Harden, that's a whole
Yep.
saga for another
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Phew.
I mean, if the spacing stays the same and Giannis and Dame just do their thing, the supporting cast doesn't even need to do much.
I know.
Chris Middleton and Jay Crowder, those guys, Brooke Lopez, they're
Yeah.
all good players, but they really can just take a backseat and just watch what goes on in front of them, because
Yeah.
I hope that Dame and Giannis stay healthy.
Mhm.
I think that this Bucks team, they look like, I would have said they're the clear number one team in the East, but the Celtics have also looked pretty good.
Pretty
But
good.
I think
Yeah.
they're definitely, it's like 1A, 1B with them right now.
Mhm.
But they definitely are looking like a very dangerous team come playoff time.
That's to be expected. I don't disagree with that. I think we are 1A and 1B. I think the one thing that Giannis said towards the end of the offseason was that it was going to be Dame's team. He was going to give Dame the reins, and he was going to be his sidekick, I guess you could say. It showed in the first game. Dame only had 39 points. Giannis only had 23 and 13, which is still really good. But, we know what Giannis can give you. I think it's going to be low-key a little refreshing to see Giannis not have to give 40 and 12, 40 and 13 for them to win games, right? You get to see Dame do his thing now, and now Dame is going to have all the spotlights on him for the first time. He hasn't had that in Portland for a while. So the finally see him back with the spotlight on him. We get to see Giannis doing his thing now really the pick and roll guy now. Now he's not the primary ball handler. Now it's Dame. So to see him in that role, I thought he looked really. I thought it looked alive. I thought he looked really good. They looked like the best duo in the league besides Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. So this lineup is going to be very, very dangerous to deal with in the playoffs because now you can't just build a wall against Giannis. Giannis is now not on the ball. He's able to just catch the ball in stride and just do what he did. Do what he did last night. So
Exactly.
Chris Middleton did give you 6 points. I actually know they had campaign. I didn't know they had campaign on their team. I forgot they received him in the trade. My Portis is they actually have a lot of depth on that team, low key. They have a lot of depth on that team, low key.
It's a really well constructed team, I think.
Yeah, really. I think they're probably the best constructed team besides us in the NBA right now. So if they can continue to ride this stride into the playoffs, I think whoever comes out of the East is probably going to win the finals. If it's not the Heat, okay, let me get that straight. If it's not the Heat, so I think
anybody but the Heat.
And it's not even that I hate the Heat. It's just the fact that I don't think the Heat have the team to. They don't have the
No,
team
they
to
don't.
beat
They
the Nuggets or
definitely
anything
don't.
those guys. I think we both collectively, us and the Bucks do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna go into crazy because again they didn't have Harden, but I love what I saw from Giannis and Dame Lillard. So for sure.
Well, that's all from us. Please like, share, subscribe, everything like that. If you have any suggestions, requests, anything you'd like to see us talk about, please let us know in the comments.
Yep.
But that's it for us, guys. See y'all later. Love y'all.